I still remember the moment I realized I had made a huge mistake. Not the kind of mistake that happens in a single day. The kind that quietly follows you for years. The kind that slowly steals opportunities. Time. Money. Freedom. And the worst part? I didn't even know it was happening. From the outside, everything looked normal. I had a job, a paycheck, a bank account, and occasionally, some money left over at the end of the month. I thought I was doing okay. Not rich. Not successful. But okay. At least that's what I told myself. Then one day, I decided to calculate something. How much money had passed through my hands over the previous 5 years. The number shocked me. It was more money than I had ever imagined. Thousands. Then tens of thousands. Eventually, well into 6 figures. And yet somehow, my financial situation barely looked different. That realization felt like a punch to the stomach. Because for the first time, I had to ask a painful question. Where did it all go? I started reviewing old bank statements, old purchases, old spending habits. And slowly, a pattern emerged. The mistake wasn't one giant purchase. It wasn't a luxury car. It wasn't some disastrous investment. It was something much more dangerous. I was living without intention. Money came in. Money went out. And I rarely questioned where it was going. If I wanted something, I bought it. If I felt stressed, I spent money. If everyone else upgraded, I upgraded too. Nothing looked extreme individually. But together? The damage was enormous. That's when I learned one of the most important lessons about money. Most financial problems aren't created by one catastrophic decision. They're created by thousands of small unconscious decisions. And honestly, that realization changed everything. Because suddenly, my financial situation wasn't mysterious anymore. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't the economy. It wasn't other people. It was behavior. Repeated behavior. That was uncomfortable to admit. Because blaming circumstances feels easier. Taking responsibility feels harder. But responsibility also gives you power. And power changes outcomes. For years, I thought earning more money would solve everything. So I focused almost entirely on income. More work. More hours. More effort. And when my income increased, something surprising happened. Nothing changed. At least not permanently. The extra money disappeared almost as quickly as it arrived. Lifestyle inflation quietly absorbed everything. A slightly better phone. A slightly nicer apartment. A few more subscriptions. More eating out. More convenience. More spending. And suddenly, the financial progress disappeared. That experience taught me something many people learn too late. Making more money doesn't automatically create wealth. Keeping money creates wealth. Investing money creates wealth. Managing money creates wealth. Income helps. But behavior determines the outcome. That lesson was painful. Because it meant I couldn't simply earn my way out of bad habits. I had to change my relationship with money itself. At first, that felt overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. So I started small. Very small. I began tracking every dollar. Not to judge myself. To understand myself. And honestly, what I discovered was shocking. Many purchases weren't improving my life at all. They were emotional reactions. Stress spending. Boredom spending. Comparison spending. Reward spending. I wasn't buying things because I needed them. I was buying temporary feelings. And temporary feelings are expensive. That realization changed my perspective completely. Because for years, I believed my spending was logical. But much of it was emotional. And emotional spending is difficult to notice until you become aware of it. That's why financial growth often starts with awareness. Not budgeting, not investing. Awareness. Because you cannot improve behavior you refuse to examine. Slowly, I started making changes. Nothing dramatic. Just intentional. I paused before purchases. I questioned my motivations. I started thinking long term. And something interesting happened. The urge to spend didn't disappear. But my awareness increased. That awareness created choice. And choice created better decisions. Month after month, small improvements started accumulating. Not dramatic improvements. Small ones. But small improvements compound. That's something many people underestimate. A tiny financial improvement repeated for years can completely change your future. Just like a tiny financial mistake repeated for years can quietly damage it. That's the hidden power of habits. They look insignificant daily, but significant annually, and life-changing over decades. Looking back now, the mistake that cost me years of financial progress wasn't a bad investment. It wasn't a market crash. It wasn't a financial emergency. It was drifting. Living financially without intention. Assuming things would somehow work themselves out. They didn't. And honestly, that's one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned. Because once I stopped drifting, everything changed. My savings improved. My stress decreased. My confidence increased. And for the first time, I felt like I was moving towards something instead of simply reacting to life. The truth is, most people don't need perfect financial strategies. They need awareness, consistency, and intentional behavior. Those simple things often create extraordinary results over time. The mistake that cost me years of financial progress wasn't obvious while it was happening. That's what made it dangerous. It felt normal, comfortable, harmless, until I finally looked at the bigger picture. And by then, years had passed. But here's the good news. The moment you become aware of a mistake, it can become a lesson, and lessons can change futures. That's exactly what happened to me. So now I'm curious, what's one financial mistake that taught you an important lesson? Comment below. And if you want more videos about money psychology, financial freedom, and real-life money lessons, subscribe. Because sometimes the most expensive mistakes teach the most valuable lessons.